Hey everyone, I want to welcome you to this session of one of my videos. So I'm talking today about $4,700 in finding someone through relatives. So today I'm trying to find a person. His name was Matt. I'm not going to say his last name, and this was state funds. And I'm calling up and I'm trying all the info that I have on him, which is really limited. Phone numbers are old, everything's out of date, and I can't find him. So I noticed that there was a guy roughly just 20 something years older, same last name, very close proximity in the former address. So figured that was probably his dad. So I go ahead and I try his dad and I just say, hey, I'm trying to reach, my name is David Church. I'm trying to reach Matthew. Would you be able to get me in touch with him? And there was a pause, and the dad wanted to know why I was calling. He said, okay, who is this and why are you trying to call? So I said, great question. My name is David. I said my corporation name, JD Vista. So I said, my name is David Church. I'm trying to reach Matt. I'm with JD Vista regarding a dormant check that has come back that we're trying to get to him. I didn't say that I had the check. I didn't say that the check was to me. I didn't say that I personally had the check issued. And then he said, okay, he said, this sounds a little weird. And he said, I'd like to know some more information. That's your saving grace right there. So when you talk to someone and they're still on the phone with you, you have to be able to have your data. So at this point, I'd already given some info. I said, I gave the street name. So at this point, I went ahead and gave the full street address. I went ahead and gave the name of the life insurance company. I went ahead and gave him all the details that I could go ahead and give him. Okay, so this is where I probably see more clients fall through the cracks than most other. There are so many ways to lose your clients. So the father said, if you want to go and give me the information, I'll make sure he gets it. He's overseas. Again, I went ahead and I gave him his son's full name. I gave him the address that I had for him. I gave him the name of the life insurance company that the dad was familiar with. He asked me for the amount of the check, and I didn't give it to him at the first point. I emailed him, and I went ahead and included the details on the email. So he went ahead and saw the amount. But for the fact, I said, sir, I'd like to tell you, but I have to kind of keep this confidential. At that point, I was kind of going with my gut, trying to test him. I mean, it's public information. This was on a public site. So the dad and I started talking, and we're conversing. He said, well, you'll need to go through me. And I said, okay, that'll be great. I said, how would you like to do that? Would you like me to email you the info? And can I follow back up? The guy gave me his personal email account. It was a Gmail. I went ahead and I just said, okay, now here's where I see people email and they let it go. They don't follow back up. So the dad said that the son was overseas. So what am I going to do to try to get this deal? So it's a $4,700 commission. And this is something where I always ask people, like, could you do one deal a month at 4,700, 5,000, 9,000? There's thousands of these out there. And this particular deal, I can only get 10% in. So it's a $47,000 deal. I'm doing live calls, I could get 10%. If this was a tax overages, which are out there, say it's 50,000, round up a few thousand, it'd be a $15,000 payout. And again, that's what I charge. I typically do 30%, unless I have a really small amount. And if it's a super, super small amount, then I'll come in at 50%. And some people will say, hey, I don't like that. I want higher. And I'll say, well, you've got 2,000 here and I'll do this for you, but I'm going to make $1,000 on it. I mean, I'm going to have to do something. I'm doing a lot of work, and take it or leave it. And sometimes people say no, and I'll have to say, okay, thank you, but let's get back into how do I close this deal? What am I going to do to close this deal? So I talked to the dad. Within an hour, I had I took a picture of the claim, of the return check. I had that to him, or all the info, I should say. So I took a picture of all the info. I sent that to him in the email. I went ahead and let him know what my fee would be and everything in the email. Now, he's got this email today. When do I follow back up with him? Do I follow back up with him in email? I think a phone call would be great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably wait about a good solid week and call him next week. Why? Because his son's overseas right now. And it's not like he's going to pick up the phone and say, hey, David Church is trying to reach you. You got money. The son's going to say, okay, great. All right, let's go and do business. He's probably going to email the information, forward over to the son's email, probably 2 or 3 days. And again, I have to go with, what do I think? Usually what I'll say, and I didn't say it in this case, I was more wrapped up with a couple of things. Usually I'll say, when would be the best time for me to follow back up with you? But I've got the guy's personal email. I've got his cell phone number. I went ahead and I emailed him the details, which it went through. I verified that. So my email has gone through. So now at this point, I will wait about a good solid week. I might hear back. I might say, okay, the son wants a contract, so he wants to go to move forward. After a week, I will go ahead and call the dad back and just say, hey, I just want to follow up with you, see if I can answer any questions that you may have. What goes really, and I've talked about this before, is communication is vital here. It's going to make or break this deal. What would even be really good, and I don't know if I'm going to do this, I need to do it, but is if I send him a little card, unbranded, that just says, hey, his name was Brian. So, hey, Brian, I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for your time. Looking forward to assisting you if you choose to work with us. I promise I'll represent you the best I can. Best always, David Church. Something like that, like a little card that just says, hey, really want to let you know I appreciate you. No one does that. And again, you have to do what other people are not willing to do. You have to be willing to go to the furthest extent. Now, I'm not working this as much as I used to, just because I'm working on other stuff within the company, but I love this business. I do believe in it. I do believe that anyone could get anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000 to 15,000. We've had warriors get one deal at 50 grand. In fact, I have a warrior right now that just gave me his testimony the other day, and I'm interviewing him later on this week. Hopefully, I've asked for an interview. He got one deal where he's making 1,500 commission, and he just got another deal. And if it goes through like it looks like it's going to, he will make a $50,000 commission. And he's not the first one to do that. And I've had warriors get 10,000. 15,000 on their first commissions. And then they ask me, okay, what do I do next? It's like, are you seriously asking me what you're going to do next? Okay, you just got 15, 20, $25,000 on a commission on a deal. Get out there and get another deal. So at this point in the conversation, I called, and again, I was very strong. You've got to be bold in your voice. I just said, hi, this is David Church. I'm trying to find out, let me scratch that. So I said, hi, this is David Church. I'm trying to reach Brian. And the dad goes, yeah, this is Brian. I said, Brian, would you be able to put me in touch with Matt? And I said the last name. And then he wanted to know who I was. And then I went ahead and introduced myself, and I gave data. Data is what saved me. The dad said, you're going to need to go through me. I said, okay, great. That's fine. How would you like to do that? Again, I gave him a little bit of control here. I know how I'm going to do it. I know what I want to do, and I know what has to be done. But I put him in the driver's seat just a little bit here. And I said, would you like me to email you? That was my plan. Okay, emailing. And then I've said again and again, and you're going to hear me say this again. If you want to lose a deal, go ahead and just email, and then email again and follow up on email, and never call the guy again. You might get the deal, you might not. I've had deals where it's been electronic communication, but usually people need that follow-up touch. There's $47,000 of life insurance here. $47,000. It's a $4,700 commission. Will I get it? I hope so. I mean, I'm going to do my best to get this deal. 4,700 in 1 hour. That's absolutely incredible. But if I hide behind the computer to get this deal, I will not get it. I'll tell you that right now. How will I get this deal? A follow-up phone call. Hey, Brian, just want to make sure that you got my information, and want to make sure that see if I can answer any questions for you. Not even did you have a chance to check with your son and where are we at? That sounds like it's like saliva is coming out of my mouth, and I'm hungry. And don't get me wrong. Yes, I want this deal. I'm hungry for it, but there's a way to communicate with your client, and the way to communicate is just, hey, want to know if you have any questions, want to know if there's anything I could do for you, follow up. All right, by the way, have you had a chance to show it to Matthew? I'm going to say Matthew. So have you had a chance to show it to Matthew? And then pause and see what he says. And then, okay, what would you recommend be the next step from here? Would you like to go forward? With your permission, I could go ahead and get the contracts. I can get them out to you, have them to you within 24 hours. Now, depending on exactly where he's at overseas, I think he said Germany. I'm assuming this guy's in the service. So depending where he's at, there's notaries and other people that could work out there in his schedule. I mean, the military may have something like that. Hopefully they do. If not, we'll try to help find him something. And I'm going to have to do some research out there with the state and with that country, and make sure that we could, because I've done some out of country notaries before. It's not super hard. Let me just say one more thing. Okay. This lead is over 5 years old. It's over 5 years old. Actually, I think it's even older than that. Okay. It's an old lead. I try Matthew. He doesn't pick up. What do? I then tried relatives. The first person I tried happened to pick up. I had another one almost identical. I had a business that had 47,000, and I haven't gotten a response back on this one. Actually, I do have a couple calls that have come in that I've taken. I have a couple more that I have to get back to. So it's possible I have. The guys nowhere to be found in this business. Business no longer has any information on it. So I went ahead and I did a LinkedIn search on this guy, and I found someone with that name in Massachusetts. I went ahead and I did a search on that, and I found not only this guy, I found someone 20 years older, actually about 25 years older. So One was like 60 and the other one was like roughly not quite 85, but close to it. Both had the same name. Both had been in California. Both had been near the city of this business. Very likelihood that it's them. And this is another $47,000 deal. If I get this under contract, it's going to be $4,700. And I say this because most people want to make a quick phone call. And I do. Don't get me wrong. I want to pick up, hi, hey, John, you have $47,000. Can I get under contract? Okay, great. Contracts are on their way. Nice meeting you, and refer me to someone else That would be great if that happened all day long. And don't get me wrong, I have plenty of conversations where I call people, they've relocated, they're somewhere different, they've gotten a new cell phone, they've been out of touch of reality, and they have funds, especially with the tax overages, especially with the later tax overages that haven't been claimed within 6 months. You have people that have hit a financial devastation, they're getting a new job, they relocate, and boom, you're able to reach them. I've made money that way, I've gotten people paid that way, it's great. But you're going to have people that have relocated, they've done something, or you can't find them, and you have to call relatives and you have to talk to relatives. And we give a ton of script for this. Like one of the things I say is before you hang up, and I got this from a warrior, by the way, and he's on one of my YouTube interviews. Lee, he's a great guy. He's made 100 grand in 3 months, and I've adopted what he has said. But I'll say before you hang up, I'm calling to let you know that there are some funds that have been returned and they're going dormant. Before you hang up, it's important that we speak to him to get him these funds that are out to him when he lived at the Main Street address in whatever town it is. Before you hang up, you may want to consider giving him my number. That gets people's attention. And again, I usually when I reach a relative, like I said earlier, it's data that saves you. Know your data. I had the son's name, I had the street address, I had the life insurance company, and later on, I just closed him out. The dad goes, "Well, is this worth us pursuing?" And I said, I would pursue it if it was this amount. He goes, "Is it over 100?" And I just said, yes. He goes, "Is it over 500?" And I said, "It's over 5,000." And the dad's like, "Okay, we're very interested," at that point. And then at the end of the call, I said, "By the way, you're going to see the email. It's $47,000 even is what he has." And then the dad said to me, "Well, you know that there's a lot of fraudulent companies out there that claim that people have funds." Okay, that's why I didn't open up, and that's why I followed the script. That's why I didn't call up and say, "Hey, your son has $47,000. Let me get him paid." Those kind of deals you get hung up on. You have to go with the script. You have to have that data. What did I do? I first of all said the dad's name and my name. I said my name and the dad's name. "Hi, this is David Church. I'm trying to reach." And he said, "Yeah, this is him." And I said, "Yes, I'm actually trying to reach." And I said his son's name. "Would you be able to get me in touch with him?" Well, of course, dad wants to know what it's about. And then I said, "Well, he lived on this street, and there's some funds that have gone dormant that I'm trying to get to him. I'm with JD Vista." And then at that point, I'm leaking information as it goes. If I had called and just said, "Your son has 47,000 unclaimed," that sounds like a phony call. I mean, the whole thing sounds funny, but luckily it ended up being where I got his personal email. I got all kinds of information. So the moral of this whole story is know your data, know how to follow back up. Again, this deal could so easily slip through the cracks. And I'm not saying it's a guarantee slam dunk, but statistically, if I call him, and I will give this guy a week, I will call him the same time next Monday and just say, "Hey, I want to be able to verify that you got the information, want to kind of see where we're at, and would love to be able to do business if you're up for it." That's where I see most of the calls, like 80 to 90% fall through, because there's no follow-up, or people hide behind their computers. I'm asking someone to trust me with $47,000. $47,000. I'm asking them to trust David Church, JD Vista, with $47,000. That's a huge chunk of change, okay? I would not trust somebody with 47. I would want to know what I'm signing. I would want to know this company's history. I would want to know everything about the individual before I agreed to let them have $47,000 or work with that or represent me in doing that. And that's what I'm asking this guy to do. I'm not going to hide behind electronic communication. I will follow back up with a phone call. Hey, everyone, I hope this video helps. I know this is just kind of some extra words that you guys all know, but again, it's data. It saves me every single time. It's follow-up. We call that the F-bomb here in Warriors. It's the follow-up. You've got to be able to have both of those, and it's the way you follow up if you get the deal or not. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for your time.